The real estate market is crashing. Oh my gosh, we can barely hold this thing up. Freaking the rain is coming down and we're all gonna die in this whole real estate rubble of madness. Is that really what's happening? Is the big crash coming in 2022? Let's find out.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Oh my gosh, it is really coming down. And frankly, that's the fear that everyone has in the real estate game right now. It's like, Kris, come on, man. The crash, we thought it was gonna happen in 2021, but what about 2022? I mean, the prices keep going up higher and higher and higher. We see what's happening to China's real estate market. Are we next? I mean, I'm a relatively young guy still, right? I mean, I was in the real estate market in 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2008, the global financial crisis hit and boom, real estate got obliterated. Then we had this huge problem, right? I mean, obviously the market crashed in the first place because we had way more houses supplied than we had demand for. But then we didn't build anything for 7 years. And within that 7-year period of time, the real estate market started coming back stronger and stronger and stronger, but we've never fully recovered. I mean, technically we're still missing millions of homes. And as long as that is the case, we can't actually build towards another bubble burst. So what are the facts and the figures, and what are the real numbers? And more importantly, did you know that I helped my investors make over $100 million right after the bubble burst? Well, I'm doing the exact same thing, even bigger right now as we ride the market up. And trust me, I'm gonna tell you when the market's gonna burst because we're gonna ride that wave too. So let's talk about the huge undersupply of homes right now. These brand new stats just came out from USA Today, and the number is literally flabbergasting. Check it out. There are roughly 140 million homes in the United States, but according to a recent report by Realtor.com, that isn't quite enough. In fact, there's such an imbalance in the supply of homes that the number of people who want to become homeowners that the US needs is 5.24 million more homes. Now, here's why that's such a big deal. I've been tracking how many homes we are delinquent for the last decade. And right up until the pandemic, guess what the number was, according to Wall Street Journal? 2.1 million missing homes. So during this pandemic, how did it jump to 5 million? Well, I remember that last year they came out and updated the number to be almost 4 million. Now they're saying it's actually 5 million. Are we really missing 5 million homes? Well, we're gonna dig in a little deeper, but here's what you need to understand. There will never be a burst of the bubble as long as we have demand like that. So let's talk about CNBC and what they believe the source of all this demand is really about. One of their analysts, Dennis McGill, director of research at Zelma & Associates, said that the demand of homes is not indicative of the overall need to build more houses. Demand is strong right now, he said, because of an unusual emotional surge driven by the pandemic. And let me define emotional surge. People are saying, yo, if I don't have to step foot in an office building again, my preference would be not to. In fact, you can poll and 8 out of 10 Americans say, I just want to actually work from my house. Problem with that, I need a different kind of house if I'm gonna live here and have it be my private personal life, or if I'm actually gonna have it also be my home that I work in, my home office.
How's the whole working from home thing going for you?
Whoa!
What? No!
I mean, to some extent, it really does make sense, doesn't it? Like, if you are planning on actually working in the same place where you live, you need to make sure that your home suits your personal needs, right? I mean, look at the reason why wealthy people have really, really nice houses. I've got a 15,000 square foot addition that I'm trying to get my city to pass because it's got all sorts of fun and entertainment and things that I want to be able to do at home because my needs have changed. And right now, people being able to work from home is one of the biggest changes. That change will happen again in the next 5 to 10 years when cars are fully automated and actually drive themselves. We won't really even need garages unless you're a car enthusiast. So the world is changing and we need to be able to adapt to it. Here's one of the concerns. Are builders too optimistic? I'm going to tell you, I had a bunch of buddies that were developers, and when the 2008 crisis hit, guess what? They had made a bunch of money in 2003, and they bankrolled it into more projects and bigger developments. In 2005, they made even more money, and then 2006 and 2007, the market was just going higher and higher and higher, and they got way more greedy and way more ambitious, and then they had sunk millions of dollars of profits into their next development, and boom, 2008 hits. It all comes crashing down. Everything goes back to the bank. They lost all their wealth. And so builders need to be wondering right now, like, wait a second, is now the time to be cautious, or is now the time to be optimistic? And it comes down to your interpretation of what's really real out there with these numbers. Are we missing over 5 million homes? That's the first time I've seen that number come out. Or is it really the 2.5 million? Let's find out. There is a downward trajectory of population growth, household formation as well, that's really going to undermine the need for what's built, said McGill. On the other side of that, you have the development community that's optimistic about there being a housing shortage and very optimistic about how much needs to be built. In other words, there's a lot going on both sides of the fence. And speaking of fences or lack of fences, we have a lot of immigrants that are right now coming out of Mexico. They're coming into the States, and we're talking about tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people every single week. Those people need houses too. Where are they going to live? That's also going to impact these numbers. One thing we know for certain, there's going to be a constant demand for more houses over time. The problem is that when we have a glut of houses and too many, and we don't have a problem with supply, well, then we have a problem with demand because it doesn't exist. And that's what leads to the real estate market dropping out, a bubble bursting, if you will. On the other hand, we have the opposite problem going on. We literally have all of this demand for millions of houses being built. And in a recent article, they came out and they said some feel that the industry is not overbuilding. They claim we only need 800,000 to 900,000 single family homes for household formation and growth right now, and only another 200,000 to 300,000 every year after for increased population demand. So what is it? Are we missing 1 million homes, or are we missing 5 million homes? Here's what I can tell you. When we run out of missing homes, then you can worry about a bubble bursting. I track these numbers closely, and if you're a subscriber on my channel, listen, I'm going to be telling you at least 6 to 12 months in advance when it's time to get out of the market, because what's going to be happening when that bubble bursts, it's going to be nasty. Why? Because it takes years for builders to ramp up and banks to fall in line and development to actually get zoned appropriate for houses. So when a developer starts a project, it takes 2, 3, 4, or 5 years to see it through. Sometimes they have 4, 5, or 6 phases. Sometimes it's 7 or 10 years or more. Well, we're going to see this thing coming from a mile away, and we're nowhere near it. But just know that when it happens and this bubble bursts, it's going to be glorious, because the housing market at that point, you're going to have homes priced a few $100,000 higher than they should be. They're going to fall right on their behinds, and you're going to be able to pick them up at really huge discounts. Which means that right now you need to figure out how to get in the game of real estate to take advantage of all of this growth. 100% yes, yes, yes right now. You also need to figure out how to exit strategically, and then how to jump in when you can actually get prices at the lowest of lows that you might see for the next century. If you have ever contemplated entering the game of real estate, I'm going to tell you right now, the most important financial advice that I can give right now is to buy a home. If you have a home, buy another home. If you own 2 homes, buy 5 homes. If you have 5 homes, buy 20. If you have 20, buy 100. Because right now, can you really bet accurately on what's going to happen in cryptocurrency, or what's happening in the job market and how it's affecting business? Business is a great sector to be in as well, but real estate brings crazy predictability. I wrote the ultimate map, 5 steps to how you buy real estate with little to no money whatsoever. And if you haven't gotten a copy of this book, it's your lucky day. I'm giving it to you for free. The book is yours. When you click the link below, you just got to cover shipping and handling. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is the most complete guide to how you make millions of dollars in real estate. If you don't know how, let me give you the gift of knowledge that can make the impact and make the difference. Get this copy right now, and let's get you started on your game of real estate investing. Man, when it rains, it pours. And I'm telling you right now, the rains of abundance, they are coming down if you own hard assets, if you're investing in the right things. There's only one little problem. The government might be putting their long nose in the door saying, wait a second, should we restrict investors from buying homes if we really have such a shortage of them? Governments all around the world, they're starting to get involved. And in my opinion, it might be disrupting some of our rights and some of our freedoms to build wealth for ourselves. If you don't really know what's going on, watch this video and let me get you educated. Come with me, let me show you how to make millions in real estate. Don't be like that bad sheeple.